Hey, what's up, solar family? It's James here. Hopefully you're doing amazing. If you're watching me on YouTube, make sure you click subscribe and that bell notification so you get all my updated videos as it comes out. On this video, I'm gonna be going over the different types of commission structures. And I know it should be common sense that you should know how you get paid, but unfortunately, the consultants that I speak to, especially the newer folks, they don't quite understand how to get paid. Especially like if they're sitting in an interview and they're going over the numbers with, the solar company or the hiring manager, and they throw all these kilowatts and PPWs and commissions and red lines and things at you. And since you're new, you don't quite understand it. You're just like, yeah, sounds good. And then when you get home, you're like, oh crap, how do I get paid? Right, so that's what I'm going to be going over today, the different types of commission structures, and I'm also going to tell you which ones that I recommend, right? The best one that I recommend for you. And if you haven't scheduled your solar strategy call yet, make sure you do that. There's going to be a link underneath this video. Schedule your free solar strategy call. If you want to take your sales and marketing game to the next level, make sure you do that. So let's jump right into it. So the first one is hourly plus commission. So you're going to find this type of commission structure if you're working directly with a solar company. So if you work directly with like Sunrun, Vivint, some of these big solar companies, they're probably going to offer you an hourly rate, which is going to be fairly low. I know back in the day when I first started out with Solar City, it was like 30K. Hopefully it went up a bit, but basically they're going to give you a base, they're going to give you a gas card, maybe a car, a laptop, and maybe a small commission. So you're gonna find this type of business structure, that kind of commission structure, working directly with a solar company. Secondly, you're probably gonna see a percentage of the sales type of structure, meaning that it can be an hourly plus a commission, and that commission is a percentage of the sale, or it could be strictly commission. Right? But you're going to get a percentage of the sale. Say, for example, the sale is $30,000. They're going to give you a 5% commission for every sale. So that means for that $30,000 system, you're going to make about $1,500. Right? That's how that kind of structure would work. The next one, you can find this type of commission structure working directly with a solar company, or even dealership partnership kind of style, but it would be per kilowatt. So in this industry, everything is based on a kilowatt size basis, right? So the size of the system is based on a kW. So for example, if the solar company is going to give you, $300 per kilowatt, and so let's put the numbers there, $300 per kilowatt, and you sell a 6 kilowatt system, that's basically $1,800, right? That's how that would work. So that's just an example of per kilowatt. The last one is my favorite, right? It's using the per kilowatt, or actually a price per watt business model, but it's a red line. A red line just basically means, for example, a solar company is going to give you their base price. So, for example, if your red line is at $2, meaning that anything above and beyond $2 is your profit minus fees, right? Don't forget there's dealer fees involved, but that's a separate video. But there are fees involved, right? But let's just keep it simple, $2 without the dealer fees. Say, for example, that you sold the system at $1 per watt, which is basically your margin, right? Price per watt. And keep in mind, the PPW is basically the same thing, same thing as the kilowatt. So basically, if you convert the dollar per watt, that just means $1,000 per kilowatt. Right? You just multiply the PPW times 1,000, that's going to give you the kilowatt, right? So $1 per watt just means 1,000 kilowatts, right? Excuse me, $1,000 per kilowatt. So that means that this is going to be a total PPW of $3, right? So keep in mind, there's no dealer fees here, right? That's what you would sell it for. But your commission is this dollar. So let's just go off this 6 kilowatts. So 6 kilowatts means 6,000 watts times $1. That equals to a $6,000 commission, right? So that's the difference there. You know, when you're working with a red line versus you're working with a KW as well. I mean, obviously you could probably still get the same exact commission from a KW type of system, but when you're working with a solar company, they're gonna say, hey, this is your kilowatt rate. That's how much you're gonna get paid, 300, 400, 500, whatever per kilowatt, and you just multiply that based on the size of the system, right? So if you're currently getting paid $300 per kilowatt times 6 kilowatts, that's $1,800, and you can just see here how much more money you could make by getting a partnership, right? By working with a solar company and creating a partnership and using this red line type business model, right? It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. The downside to this is, as far as the red line, most of the time you have to generate your own lead and opportunity, right? So you have to go out there and knock on doors or go online and generate that lead, versus if you work with a solar company, they are going to pay you less, but the flip side is they give you leads. But for me personally, I'd rather go get those leads myself, either if I have to knock on a door, because you're going to have to do that here anyway eventually, right? They may give you some leads, you know, for a certain amount of time, but there's also a quota with big solar companies for you to generate your self-generated leads. So if you're generating the leads yourself, I would definitely go with the red line business model. This is going to pay you the most. And you can only imagine how many deals you need to close to make some pretty significant amount of money, right? Closing 2 deals with a red line type business model with this example, right? And keep in mind, this is just an example. I'm not guaranteeing you any income, but with using this example, you sell 2, you already made 12 grand. With this business model, even with a percentage or even with a straight, KW commission, you're only making $1,800. And if you sold 2, that's only $3,600 versus 12 grand. You decide what sounds better. So hopefully this helped you out a bit. I know it can get a little bit confusing. If you still have questions about how you're currently getting paid, or maybe you want to jump into this type of business model as far as the red line, make sure you schedule a free solar strategy call. There's going to be a link somewhere around this video. I would love to dive in deeper with you here and explain to you how you can get involved. I have, relationships all over the country that I can literally get you plugged in this type of business model today if you wanted to. So go ahead and schedule that call, and I would love to chat with you. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you click the subscribe button, and make sure you also click the bell notification button so you get all my updated videos as it comes out. Other than that, that's all I have for you. Go underneath the description, click the link, and schedule your free solar strategy call, and I'd love to dive in deeper with you. Other than that, have an amazing day. Peace.